Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to another time of Bible teaching. We are back in the book of Revelation. We're going to finish up Revelation 11 today, and I'm debating where we're going to go with the rest of the Revelation as we move forward. The teaching for Revelation 12 was already done. I did that, I don't know, several weeks ago because there was just so many questions about Revelation 12 that I got that one out there a little bit early. So that one's already out there. I may not take a break from the book of Revelation until after September 23rd, September 24th-ish, only because I have some other videos I want to get out. And also, the comments get a little more active this time of year. So it's just going to depend on how my time goes. And I'm also taking a vacation for 10 days, 11 days. Going to our favorite beach town in the world, Ocean City, New Jersey. I know, New Jersey? No, this place is cool. This place is really cool. It's in the southern Jersey Shore. But, I'll still have my phone. I'll still bring my stuff with me. I don't know what I'll be doing during that time. But if you don't see any teachings on the book of Revelation for a couple weeks, either we'll continue the Bible study up in the Father's house and we'll try to get Messiah himself to finish it up, or we will start after September and the end of September, beginning of October, here back on this world. One or the other. I am strongly expecting to be raptured this year, as I have other years. A little more emphasis on this year than years past for me, just what I'm seeing, but it's not guaranteed. So I will not be hugely disappointed and I'll be disappointed a little if we're still here, but I'm not going to be depressed and bummed out and moped. It's just that we'll have more time to share Messiah with others so that we can plunder hell in order to populate heaven. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our Bibles. I'll do that here. And we're looking at Revelation 11, and we're picking up in verse 15. All right. A little bit about where we're at in the time frame. We are ending our parenthesis in time. We left off, at the end of Revelation 9. All of Revelation 10 and the beginning of Revelation 11 is a parenthesis in time. It takes place over a period of time. But now we're going to come back, and you remember what we finished off with at the end of chapter 9 offhand? Do you remember? Let's go back and look. I heard a couple people say, I'm not sure. Then again, I could just be hearing things. Who knows? Because there's nobody in the home with me here right now. So let's go back to Revelation 9. And at the very end, it is the sixth trumpet judgment. And the sixth trumpet judgment is the battle of Gog and Magog. So back to Revelation 11, and we're going to pick up at what? The seventh trumpet judgment. And that's where we're back into our progression of chronology, the chronology of the book of Revelation. Then the seventh angel sounded, and there were loud voices in heaven saying, "The kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever." I like that. Forever is not long enough. It's got to be forever and ever. I love that. Forever and ever. Does it happen right here, right now, in this chronology at the seventh trumpet? No. And we will look at that as to why. First of all, for me, I would sit here and say, well, of course not. If it did, why do you have 7 bowl judgments coming? We're not even at the halfway point of tribulation yet. We're right there. But we've got still 3.5 years of hell on earth coming. The Antichrist is on earth, but Satan is about to get kicked out of heaven and cast down into the earth. Why? How could this possibly be right here, right now, at this time? This is a prophetic perfect tense of a verb. Dave, what's a prophetic perfect tense of a verb? You do understand that we've covered it in Revelation 12, That's where Satan is kicked out of heaven. Up until that time, Satan has access to the heaven and access to the world. We know that, actually, let's go to Revelation 12. We know that because it tells us, where is that verse? That he is the accuser of the saints night and day. Let's just do this. There shouldn't be that many verses like that, 210, but I go to the end of them. Where is that verse? Come on. Give me a second. Right here. And I heard in a loud voice in heaven, in voice saying in heaven, now salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God and the power of Christ has come. For the accuser of our brethren who accused them before our God night and day has been cast down. So he's accusing them before God. There is no way that he's already been cast out of heaven. That makes sense? And he's got to be on here and on earth to be able to see what we're doing here, back up to heaven so we can see what we're doing and be our accuser. And that's what the word Satan is. Satan is like the prosecutor in a trial. Luckily, we have a much better defense attorney. Much better. But see, here it says, how you are fallen, past tense, from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you were cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations. Now that's a prophetic perfect tense of the verb, and that you can see in the Hebrew. And in the Hebrew here, you can, well, I won't say you can see it. I know I can't see it if I saw the Hebrew. My teacher can. He actually teaches advanced Hebrew, and you can see it. And I've actually talked to some of my other customers who are, learned Orthodox Jews who read Hebrew and they said, I know what you're talking about, but I can't see those. I can't pick that out. So this is what we're dealing with is a prophetic perfect tense of the verb, of verbs. That's what we're looking at here in Revelation 11. And again, it's just something, and it's throughout, a lot of times throughout the Old Testament, where a prophecy is so assured of happening, it's said as if it already did. And what Messiah is basically saying here is, I'm taking it back. I am taking it back. Now, if you remember, we spoke about this before, back with the seven seal judgments, back in Revelation 5 and 6, that there was one document in ancient Israel that had seven seals on it. And that would have been like a trust, a deed document, a mortgage trust, something like that. And it is those seals are who can open it. So when Messiah was opening up those seals, he's declaring that I am taking back what Adam and Eve lost to Satan. Do you remember we went through this not long ago in Revelation 10? Let me just double check, see if I got everything on this page. Yeah. You remember in Revelation 10, we looked at the same thing. It was another declaration that he is taking it back. Is it unusual for Messiah to say the same thing multiple times? No, he does it all the time. Oh my goodness. I saw still another mighty angel coming down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, heavenly garb, and a rainbow was on his head. That should make you think of Messiah, and his face was like the sun, and his feet were like pillars of fire. The face like a sun is only describing Messiah. That's the only other place where somebody is described as having a face like the sun, and that was Messiah. But this is an angel. Angel is just a messenger. Angel can be people. It could be heavenly creatures like an archangel, a seraphim. But it could also be Messiah. Only if Messiah ever carried a message. Did Messiah ever deliver a message? Yeah, quite a few actually. Anyhow, he had a little book on his hand and he set his right foot on the sea and his left foot on land. That is talking about ownership. Prophetically, the land is Israel, the sea are Gentile nations. A foot on each, he's saying, I am taking it back. Because if you're the soles of your feet, your shoes, if you walk the land, that's a declaration that it is yours. And we see that in Deuteronomy 11, verse 24, and it's elsewhere. Every place on which the soles of your the sole of your foot treads shall be yours. From the wilderness of Lebanon, from the river of the great Euphrates, even to the western sea, shall be your territory. And this, I believe, is to Abraham. I believe this was written to Abraham. I could be wrong. Let's keep going. We also see it in Ezekiel 43. Ezekiel 43, where Messiah comes back and he sits on the throne. And what does he say? He said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet. That's the ownership, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. I love those forevers. They're so cool. Forever. That's a long time. Forever. You know what? I'm in my 60s. I know it doesn't look like. I only look like, what, 40s? Lightning, no lightning. Good. But that's a long time for me. But forever? That's a lot longer. Oh, my goodness. Also, if you go into the story of Ruth, man, let's do that. Sandal. Therefore, a close relative said to Boaz, and Boaz is a picture of Messiah. He's the kinsman redeemer. Buy it for yourself. So he took off his sandal. Let's start back in 7. Now, this was the custom in former times in Israel concerning redeeming and exchanging. To confirm anything, one man took off his sandal and gave it to the other. And this was confirmation in Israel. So this is where it's showing the ownership of the land, because the sandal has walked the land. It's got the dirt, the dust of it. Now, when you think about this, and you think about Messiah when he told his disciples to go out in twos, and he said, if they don't hear your word, shake the dust off your sandals. And I've had teachers that have taught over the years to me, more than one, at least one, I believe it was more than one, I could be wrong, that you got to shake that dust off your sandals because it'll weigh down your ministry. It will embitter you. It'll just weigh you down. So you shake off the dust and you go on to your next place. It's not what it means. Messiah, when he says to wipe the dust or shake the dust off your sandals, he's declaring those places do not belong to me. Ooh, that's not good. All right. So we have a prophetic perfect tense of a verb. And if we understand what's really going on here, Messiah is claiming it, Satan ain't going to like it, and there's going to be war. I don't know why Satan just said, you know what? Let me just bow down in front of you here. Just take it. It's yours anyhow. He's got to know he's going to lose. Oh, I don't get it. Maybe it's just he wants to take as many people with him as possible. And it could just be that God uses him to test us. Has it ever been prophesied before, outside of the book of Revelation, that Messiah one day will take back the land? Of course it does. You know how you know that? Because I wouldn't ask the question if it wasn't there. But by the same token, Messiah, it's almost always, you can see he tells you he's going to do it. He tells you he's going to do it. He tells you he's going to do it. And then he does it. And there's so many people like, I don't believe he did that. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of those places, okay? Let's go to Daniel 2. I wish I would have more time to spend on this one. Sorry about that. Daniel 2. We're not going to get into all of this. We'll start at verse 28. Nebuchadnezzar, who I just like to call Nebi, had a dream. No, it wasn't like, I have a dream one day. No, he had a dream that was just haunting him, terrifying. Every night he's having this dream, and he has no idea what it means. So he calls together all of his fortune tellers, his seers, his magicians, all these people, and says, hey, tell me the dream or you die. And the interpretation. Tell me the dream and interpretation. And they're like, nobody's ever asked that. And he's like, he knows if he tells them the dream, they're just going to come and lie to him. But then somebody said, there's a man who can do it. Daniel can do it. And okay, so this is where we're picking up the story. But there is and let's go here. Daniel, the king answered and said to Daniel, wait, is there a question that was asked? No, there was no question asked. That shows you that this was written in Hebrew. Actually, it was Aramaic. This was written in Aramaic. It's very close, but anyhow. And the king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, that was his Babylonian name, are you able to make known to me the dream which I have seen and its interpretation? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king has demanded, the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and the soothsayers cannot declare to the king. What's a wise men? What would that word there be? Magi. Yeah, they were actually Jewish Torah scholars that came when Messiah was born. Anyhow, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets, and he has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the later days, your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed were these. The later days, the latter days, end of days, because this dream goes all the way up into the millennial kingdom that Nebuchadnezzar is having. By the way, this statue is viewed as being magnificent because to Nebuchadnezzar, it is. Now, if he was a Jewish person having the dream, it's not so magnificent because they're under slavery. But Nebuchadnezzar, oh my goodness, I am above everybody. This is a magnificent thing. We'll see a comparison in a little bit. As for you, O king, thoughts came to your mind while you were on your bed about what would come to pass after this. And he who reveals secrets has made known to me what will be. But as for me, the secret has been revealed to me because the secret has not been revealed to me because I am have more wisdom than anyone living, but for our sakes who make known the interpretation of the king, that you may know the thoughts of your heart. You, O king, were watching, and behold, a great image, this great image whose splendor was excellent stood before you, and it was awesome. Awesome. The image head was of fine gold. That's Nebuchadnezzar. We're just going to do the interpretation as we go through it. The chest and the arms of silver, the belly and thighs of bronze. Who are those? Right, Medo-Persian Empire and Greece. The legs and feet partly of iron and partly of clay. Who are the feet? Or the legs? Rome. Correct. More west, east, two legs. How about the feet? And the feet are partly of iron and partly of clay. Let's go. Hold your place here. Go to Revelation 17, and we're going to bounce back and forth a little bit between these two. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and 1 has yet to come. Who was the king? When John wrote this, who was the kingdom or the king that was? Rome. So there's one more that comes after it. So the feet are that one more. Let's keep reading here. And when it comes, it must continue for a short time. And comparatively, it's a short time compared to these other kingdoms. The beast that was and is not is himself the 8th. So that's the Antichrist that is the eighth. So we have seven, so there's another one after the seven, and this talks about it being the beast. So this is the Antichrist kingdom. The beast that was and is not is himself also the eighth, and the seventh is of the seventh and going to perdition. So he's going to come out of the seventh. Whatever this next kingdom is, he comes out of it. Actually, I think it's Great Britain and the daughter of Great Britain being the United States. I'm not going to go into that here for this teaching. The kings which you saw the horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom of yet, but they will receive their authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. 1 hour is 7 years of tribulation. So we know that like nobody knows the day, 1,000 years, or hour, 7 years of tribulation. So these are the next two. The 10 horns are the 10 toes. But Dave, we didn't read about 10 toes. There were no 10 toes in Daniel 2. Well, there are if you go down to verse 42. As the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. And the difference in this with the clay and the fragile, and there's all kinds of different theories. I believe it is that, you know, Greece, Medo-Persian Empire, Babylon, Rome, they ruled. They took the countries. They dominated the countries. Like today, it's all treaties and agreements, alliances. And it's held together in this way. And that's what it is in the seventh kingdom, and it will be during the Antichrist kingdom as well. That's what we see with that. All right, let's keep going. Where are we at? I've got to go back up further, don't I? You watched as a stone was cut without human hands, which struck the image on the feet of iron and clay and broke them to pieces. What stone is that? Yeah, the stone that the builder rejected. Exactly, that's Messiah. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together, and became like chaff from the summer threshing floor. The wind carried them away, so that no trace of them was found. And the stone that had struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This is the end of the time of the Gentiles. This is when the millennial kingdom comes in. This is when the kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of God. This is what Revelation 11, the second half, is talking about, which mid-tribbers are like, no, that's the rapture in the middle of tribulation. They are wrong. I had a note on a verse here somewhere. Yeah. Couple things, this verse in 35. I want to look at the mountain, and I want to look at we'll do the stone too. And we want to look at the time of the Gentiles. So the time of the Gentiles, that would refer to what we see in Luke 21. I don't have notes on the stone, but I'm going to do it anyhow. 21, 24. And they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away to captivity in the nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles till the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. See, that's the end of tribulation, when the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled, when Messiah comes back. Let's do the stone and then the mountain. Give me a second. Okay, when is the first time that Messiah is referred to as a stone? Well, obviously, I pulled my screen up to Genesis 49, so it's right here. This is prophecy from Jacob, from Israel. And Jacob called his sons and said, gather together that I may tell you what shall befall of you in the last days. Have you ever heard the thought that the Antichrist comes from Dan? This is part of where it comes from. And also Dan doesn't show up in places where all the tribes are mentioned. Um, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Who was the judge that came from the tribe of Dan? Yes, Samson. Dan shall be a serpent by, is that good? No, serpents are not good biblically. I just don't like them, but they're not good biblically. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, a viper by the path, that bites the horse's heels, so that the rider shall fall backwards. So Messiah is going to be coming in on a white horse. So it's Dan, the Antichrist, that's like going to bite at the heels of the horse, trying to stop him from coming back. And we'll look at that in a little bit. Actually, very shortly, right after we finish with this. So we're coming down here. We have to see Joseph. Joseph is a fruitful bough by a well. His branches run over the wall. The archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. But his bow remained in strength, and his arms are held, and his arms and his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Messiah is that stone. That stone is cut without human hand. That stone is going to grow up to be a great mountain, right? So mountains represent kingdoms. So we're going to do this a little backwards. Let's go to Isaiah 2, verse 2 first. This will make it easier to explain. Now it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on top of on top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow to it. And that's where you get to be that rain Nazi, kind of like the Seinfeld, the soup Nazi, no soup for you. If you don't come to Israel during the millennial kingdom, your nation gets no rain for you. Many shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. He, Messiah, will teach us his ways. We shall walk in his paths. For out of Zion will come forth the law, the Torah, the instructions of God, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. A lot of people who have serious issues about the law and about Torah, the instructions of God, they're not going to like the millennial kingdom, because that's what Messiah is going to be teaching. I wonder if people are going to go, hey, no, wait, you came and got rid of that. Why are you teaching that? But this is what Messiah is going to be teaching in the millennial kingdom. But the point of coming here was the mountain. That rock is going to become a great mountain. This is that mountain, and it will be established on top of the other mountains. The mountains are kingdoms. And you know what? Not that we're going to read it again, but this shows up twice in Scripture, because it's also in Micah. God's making a point. He wants people to hear this in Micah 4. Now it comes to pass that in the latter days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be, and it says the same thing, and it's going to be that for out of Zion the law will go forth. I believe that Isaiah was for Judah and Micah was for Israel, the northern 10 tribes, and God's making sure everybody's hearing this and what it's going to be like in the millennial kingdom. But this mountain, this stone is going to become a mountain. Go to Matthew. They're trying to cast out a demon, and they came to Messiah and said, how come we couldn't do it? And Jesus said, because of your unbelief. For surely I say to you, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. See, we're part of this. We are part of this kingdom that's going to be throwing this stone. And you see the same thing in Matthew 21. This is the same stone. It is Messiah. We are part with Messiah. 21:21. So let me go to the question. And when Jesus saw it, they marveled. They said, how did this fig tree wither away so soon? And Jesus answered, surely I say to you, if you have faith and you do not doubt, you will not only do what is done to the fig tree, But you will also say to this mountain, be removed and cast into the sea, and it will be done. Well, sea represents Gentile nations. This is the end of the Gentile nations when the stone hits all those nations in that statue in Daniel 2, and they all come tumbling down, and the stone becomes a great mountain, Messiah's kingdom. Yeah, we are with Messiah, but he'll be doing the fighting, and we'll see that in a little bit. Where else did Messiah claim that he's going to be? Now, before we do that, going back to that statue in Daniel 2, what did, I'm just checking my notes here. Okay, now I see what I'm doing. I'm looking at a verse like, is that now or later? What was King Nebuchadnezzar, what is his response to Daniel's dream that he gave him back in Daniel 2? When Daniel gave him the response, what did Nebuchadnezzar do? Did he like lay down in front of God and start worshiping the God of Daniel? No. He built his own statue and had everybody worship it, except for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Rakshak and Benny. So what was he saying when he made this giant statue made of gold? Remember in Daniel 2, only the head was gold, but that head was Nebuchadnezzar. So by making this statue, he said, no, God, you're wrong. It's all me. All the kingdoms will be me. It's all me. Forget all these other kingdoms. That's what he's kind of saying. What was God's response to Nebuchadnezzar? You can go eat grass. Nebuchadnezzar did eventually see it, but it took 7 years of eating grass. I always think 7 years of eating grass. By the end of the 7 years, he gets it. 7 years of tribulation that some people are gonna have to go through tribulation to get it. We're gonna go to Daniel 7, and Daniel 7 is really the same basic story as the Daniel 2 with the statue. And you have the same thing: Babylon, Medo-Persian Empire, Greece, and Rome. And then after Rome, you see the little horn popping up, the 7 horns, or the 10 horns and the 7 heads on the beast. You see all the same imagery. The difference, because these beasts are like terrible in Revelation 7, that's a Jewish perspective. It's like the Jews are looking at these things and it's like, oh my goodness, all these nations are going to have dominion over us. It's terrible. But Nebuchadnezzar, what a magnificent thing. Let's just look at Daniel. We're not going to go all through this. I could spend an hour in these verses easily. Daniel 7, verse 13. I was watching in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, Messiah, coming with the clouds of heaven. When is that? When does he come with the clouds of heaven? That's Matthew 24, I believe. Let's go there. You can hold your place here if you want. Matthew 24. Yeah. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. Actually, this word after is most often translated as with. So it's with tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. That is the sixth sealed judgment, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. That's where Satan and all of his minions get thrown out in the middle of tribulation. Then Messiah comes back. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn. That's Israel, earth. You can read about it we're not going to go there, Zechariah 12, starting in verse 10, the mourning, where they are mourning for one. Oh, let's go. I can't start telling you what it says without showing you the verse. Zechariah 12, verse 10. And I will pour on this is the Holy Spirit being poured out on Israel after tribulation. I will pour on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication. Then they will look on me whom they pierced. Yes, they will mourn for him as one mourns for his only son, and grieve for him as one grieves for a firstborn. That's the mourning that's going on in Revelation, Matthew 24. But as we continue here, hold on 1 second, that they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds with power and great glory, and he will send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, two gold stars. For anybody that can tell me what is the significance of the great trumpet with the sound of a great trumpet, and what is that trumpet called? It's the shofar Haggadol, and it is blown on Yom Kippur. Not to be confused with the Tekiah Gadol, which is blown on Rosh Hashanah. Which the Tekiah Gadol is the great trumpet blown on Rosh Hashanah. Two different trumpets, 2 different days, 2 different events. But again, this is when Messiah comes back. Hold on 1 sec. Because we were looking at, oh yeah, we got to go back to Daniel, don't we? I was just trying. I'm like, okay, where was I taking this? We're in Daniel. I was watching the night visions, and one like the Son of Man was coming with the clouds of heaven. He came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near, and they brought him near before him. Then, so after he comes back on the clouds we just read about, then to him was given a dominion, a glory, and a kingdom that all peoples, nations, and tongues should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. We keep hearing that everlasting. It's wonderful, which shall not pass away. So everlasting kingdom is not enough. You also have to say it shall not pass away. And his kingdom, the one which will not be destroyed. So everlasting, not passing away, and not being destroyed. That's Hebraic poetry, saying the same thing in different ways to give it different depth. It's called parallelism, Hebraic parallelism. It's Hebraic poetry. It doesn't have to rhyme to be poetry. Let's go to something else. Okay. We're still looking at when the end is, that Messiah is going to take back the land. And it's not at, and it's like, wow, my head just spinning other places. Let's go to Matthew 4. And some people would be like, what do you mean? It was always his land. It was always his. No, he lost it. Adam lost it to Satan. We're going to Matthew 4, verses 8 and 9. And again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. All the kingdoms of the world and glory. And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you just fall down and worship me. Why didn't Messiah say, wait a minute, you can't give me what's already mine? He didn't say that. They were Satan's at this time. Let's go to Ephesians 2. Ephesians. Yep, down here. Here we go. Ephesians 2, verses 1 through 3. And you he made alive who were dead in trespasses and sins. Thank you. In which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience, among whom all of you once conducted yourselves in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, just as the others. We all were. But whose world is it? The prince of the power of the air, who we once walked in accordance to the course of this world, and it's like the sons of disobedience. It is Satan's world right now. Let's go John 12. I think we're about to, we're going to wrap this up in a minute. John 12, at least wrap up this part. What verses do we want here? We want John 12, verse 31. Now, the judgment of this world, maybe I want to go back further. Jesus answered and said, the voice did not come because of me, but for your sake. Now the judgment of this world, now the ruler of this world will be cast out. Now is the judgment on this world. The ruler of this world will be cast out. Who is the ruler of this world? It's not Messiah. Will be cast out. It's going to happen. It didn't happen then. But see, in here, he's also talking about, Jesus is in the temple. He has walked through the temple. He's being inspected. He's about to be crucified at this point. So it's through his crucifixion, his being in the grave and his resurrection, that Satan's time was, basically declared over. From that point on, Satan was toast, but it's just not going to happen right away. Yeah. So it's not until Armageddon when the millennial kingdom sets up. By the way, and that'll be in a year of Jubilee. I got to do this. Everybody every year, there's somebody saying, it's a year of Jubilee. It's time to go home. Go to Leviticus 25. '50th year, da 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 da. See, in a year of Jubilee, each of you shall go to return to his possession. All right, to return to your possession means you get the land back. If you sold the farm, you get it back. And if you so according to the number of the years of the Jubilee, you shall buy from your neighbor, and according to the number of years of crops he shall sell to you. So it's how many crops, how many years, that's how you set the price. Because whoever's selling the land, it goes back to them in a year of Jubilee. So in a year of Jubilee, the land returns to the original owner. And talking about the year of Jubilee, Messiah flat out says, the land is mine. Okay, that land was technically lost to Satan. When does it go back to Messiah? When his feet are on the ground, because that shows ownership. That's at the end after Armageddon. So I want to go there or not? Or do we go later? I think we might go later. Give me a second. I know I shouldn't say, all right, I'll be back. Give me a second, whatever, because I just pause and it comes right back. But there was something I wanted to look at. There's a verse that kept popping into my mind, but I'm like, I thought I had that in my notes, and it's not. We're not ready for that verse yet. So let's go ahead and go back to Revelation 11. Verse 16. Now the 24 elders who sat before God on their thrones fell on their faces and worshiped God. We've talked about them before, but I think it'd be appropriate to do a review of who these 24 elders are so that we can understand who is saying what here. So let's start in Revelation 21. I'll tell you up front, the 24 elders are the 24 patriarchs and, 12 patriarchs, the sons of Israel, and the 12 apostles. It is representative of all those who belong to Messiah. And we will see that without a shadow of a doubt right now. Now, I have people that would, well, I'll save that for later. Go to Revelation 21, verse 12. This is talking about the new heaven and new earth. See? All things made new. I saw a new heaven and new earth coming down. In 12, and she had great high walls with 12 gates, and the 12 angels at the gate, and the name was written on them, which are the names of the 12 disciples and of the children of Israel. The names of the 12 disciples, and that's written on the gates, not on the angels. All right, let's go to 14, and now the wall of the city had 12 foundations. On them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So you have the 12 tribes here, 12 apostles here, making your 24. There's a promise to the church in Matthew 19 to those who belong to Messiah. in Matthew 19, the people saved by his blood. Verse 28, 19, Matthew 19, verse 28. Jesus said to him, surely I say to you, that in the regeneration, what's the regeneration? That's the millennial kingdom. When the Son of Man sits on the throne of his glory, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's go to Revelation 4. We see the 24 elders here. At the end of Revelation 4, the 24 elders fell down before him who sits on the throne and worshipped him, who lives forever and ever, and cast the thrones before the throne, saying, you are worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they exist and were created. So the 24 elders are casting off their thrones, their crowns. Who are the crowns promised for? Are there crowns somewhere in the Bible that are to these 24 elders whoever they may be? No. The crowns are promised to you and me. Let's go through and take a look. Go to first CR. What is CR? My handwriting is so bad. It's got to be Corinthians. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25. For our first crown. There are 5 of them. Now, whoever competes for the prize is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain. A perishable crown. And he's talking about like people that are running a race, and they're doing it to get this crown of like holly or whatever it is. It's leaves that perish. But we for an imperishable crown. So it's talking about running the race to the end. You don't give up. You keep going strong all the way to the end, no matter what happens. And we can get an imperishable crown. Go to 1 Thessalonians 1 Thessalonians 2:19. For what is our hope or joy or crown of rejoicing? Is it not even you in the presence of our Lord Jesus Christ at his coming? So this is just for watching to see him coming. You get a crown, the crown of rejoicing. And oh my goodness, when we see him coming, we will be seriously rejoicing. I want to sing again. That's okay. I'm not going to sing. I'm going to hold myself from singing. Let's go to Timothy. 2 Timothy. All the T's are together. All the T's together in the New Testament. 2 Timothy 4, verse 8. Finally, there is a crown laid up for me, the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on that day, the last 1,000 years, so the rapture and tribulation. And not to me only, but all of who loved his appearing. Gotta love it. We also have the crown of, this is the crown of righteousness. Let's go to the crown of life. Let's go to James. James what? 1:12. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God. God tests, Satan tempts. There's a difference. If you tempt somebody, you're trying to get them to fail. If you're testing somebody, you want them to pass. For God cannot, and this is not it. 19. Somebody need to hear that. Yeah, and God tests, and he wants you to pass. Anyhow, I'm in the wrong place somehow. James 1:12. Blessed is the man who endures temptation, for when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to all those who love him. So if you love him, you get it. To love him is to know him. And 1 John 2, at the very beginning of 1 John 2, talks about how to love him. But if you feel like you are enduring temptation right now in trials, You just have to read James 1 from the beginning. It is powerful. We also see the same crown, the crown of life, in Revelation 2, verse 10. Do not fear the things which are about to suffer. Indeed, the devil is about to throw some of you in prison, that you may be tested, and you will have tribulation for 10 days. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. The door to heaven is open on Rosh Hashanah. It is closed on Yom Kippur. Those are the high holy days. It's 7 years in between for tribulation, but the high holy days, Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, are how long? 10 days. This is talking about tribulation. And these are for people who were still here at that point. Be faithful until death, getting your head cut off, and I will give you the crown of life. That's eternal life. One more to go to, and that's 1 Peter. There's a reason I want to do this today. Normally I give the references. I don't actually go to them. 1 Peter, here we go, 5:4. Oh, shepherding the flock, shepherd the flock which is among you, serving as overseers, not by compulsion, but willingly, not for dishonest gain or eagerly. So when there's a pastor out there who's trying to get everybody to chip in money so he can get his own jet airplane or something of that one, that's for their own gain. That's not good. Not for being not as being lords over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. When the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that does not fade away. So who gets these crowns? Is it these mysterious 24 elders that somehow are like, ancient guys in the Bible or, angels or something? No, this is for the believers. This is for the believers that we get them. Let's go to Revelation 5 and hammer this down. Because the thing is, I've had people who sit there and they're like, well, it can't be the church. There's 24 elders. I said, well, who is it? I don't know, but it can't be the church. Because guess what? All this talk about the 24 elders, they're in heaven before the first seal judgment is open. It screams pre-tribulation rapture. Oh my goodness, it does. Let's go to Revelation 5 and we'll wrap this part up. Or maybe not. We're going to wrap up a little bit soon. Revelation 5, 8, 9, and 10. Now, when he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each having a harp and a golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sang a new song, saying, for you are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, for you were slain and have redeemed us. Who? Us, these 24 elders. You have redeemed us to God by your blood, by the blood of Messiah, out of every tribe, tongue, people, and nations. Those are the raptured and resurrected saints who are in heaven before the first seal. That's them, right there. The raptured and resurrected saints, out of every tribe, tongue, people, and nation. How do you get 24 of something out of every tribe, tongue, and nation? You can't. Biblically, there are 70 nations. You can't get 24. 24 is a representative number. And you have made us kings and priests to your God, a priest to our God, and we shall reign on earth. Cool. Where do we get that from? Revelation 1. John, to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace you and peace to him to grace and peace to him who is, and who was, and is to come. He got crucified now, remember? So he is, he was, and he's going to come again? Yeah. And from the 7 spirits who are before his throne. If you're curious about the 7 spirits and what they are, they're 7 manifestations of the Holy Spirit. Remember in the dove that landed on Messiah? And you can read about them in the beginning of Isaiah 11. And from Jesus Christ, the faithful witness, the firstborn from among the dead. and the ruler over the kings of this earth. To him, um, to him who loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and has made us kings and priests to his God and Father. To him be the glory and dominion forever and ever. I'm pretty sure that we'll get some training or like an indwelling of something in order to be kings and priests, but that's what we're supposed to be. Um, let's go back to Revelation 11. I know it's almost an hour. We'll wrap up this soon. I know there's other people. I don't care how long it is. Just keep going. I love it. Some people are, would you finish and just quit doing it? I mean, let's get it over with. Come on. All right. Where are we at? We've gotten 2 verses done. All right. So this is what the 24 elders are saying. We give you thanks, O Lord God, the one who is and was and who is to come. He is. He's still alive today. He was because he got crucified, and he's still to come. We're waiting on him to come back because you have taken your great power and reigned. Well, that's a prophetic perfect tense of a verb. He hasn't reigned yet. Okay. Technically, he's not even a king yet. He does. It's at. Oh, I gotta go there. No, I'm not going to go there. It is at the Rosh Hashanah where Messiah is crowned King of the universe. It's an old Jewish understanding that Messiah becomes King of the universe on Rosh Hashanah one day. That's at the rapture. And if you're thinking about his conversation that he had, I want to say Herod, it's not Herod, it's with Pilate. And he said, are you the king of the Jews? And Messiah answered, and what did he say? It is as you say. Go back and look at it. It doesn't say that. It just says, as you say. It is as, that was added in to try to make it easier for you to understand. But it changes it completely. Messiah didn't say it is as you say. He's just saying, as you say. In other words, you saying it. I'm not. That's what you're saying. That's what he said at that point. Anyhow, because you have taken your great power and reigned, and he will be doing that not too long from now, hopefully 7 years from now, hopefully. Okay, 7 years, 30 days. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. That's Psalm 2. Let's go there. I haven't been here in a while. I don't think I have. Psalm 2. This is, your wrath has come. That's tribulation. Why do the nations rage? They're angry. They're upset. They don't want Messiah to come back and reign. This is Armageddon. And the people plot a vain thing. What does vain mean? Useless, not going to come to fruition, not helpful, not going to work. It's vain. It's not like, and you're so vain. I bet you think this song is about. Sorry, I'm butchering Carly Simon's song. I said I wasn't going to sing too. Oh, well. And the kings of the earth, those aren't good, of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. Sounds like conspiracy going on here against the Lord and against his anointed. The Lord, the tetragrammaton, that is God the Father. That's the name that the Jews just do not say. They don't even know how it sounds because it doesn't have vowels in it. And his anointed, that's Messiah. There were lots of anointed ones. Okay, the kings, the priests, the prophets were all anointed, but his anointed, the God's anointed, the anointed one. It's like there's lots of false prophets, but there's going to be a false prophet. Anyhow, saying. So this is what they're saying. Let us break their bonds of pieces and cast away their cords from us. In other words, we don't want them to rule us. We don't want Messiah to come back and rule us. And he who sits in heaven shall laugh. The Lord shall hold them in derision. Derision is a sort of a laugh where you're something. You ever see those like funniest videos maybe on Facebook and people are just falling out doing stupid things, falling, getting hit by stuff, slipping, whatever. And it's like people are getting hurt. It's sad. But you look at it and you cannot help but laugh. That's the derision. It's like, I can't believe they're doing this. Oh my goodness. Ha ha ha. It's not like the gut wrenching, oh my goodness, what an amazing joke. It's a different kind of laugh, but that is what the derision is. Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and displeasure them in his deep pleasure. The Messiah speaks, it's over. It's done. They're toast. He has the sword coming out of his mouth, which is the word of God. He speaks and it's over. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. That's when Messiah comes back to the land and becomes his. That's when he takes back the land. Same thing we've been talking about. Let's go back to Revelation. We're actually pretty close to wrapping this up here. Your wrath has come, and the time of the end they should be judged. And you shall reward your servants, the prophets and the saints. Okay, those are the good rewards. And that's the Bema Seat judgment we just spoke of. What I didn't show you is where it comes, where it is. The Bema Seat judgment is in Revelation 4. You have the rapture right here where the door to heaven opens after these things. But right below it, immediately I was in spirit. He's in spirit. He had a spiritual experience. He had a vision, guys. John didn't go there. Some people believe like all this has already happened. It was just John there. No. Immediately I was in spirit, and behold, a throne set in heaven, and one sat on it. That one is Messiah that sat on the throne. Why does one sit on the throne? To judge. What judgment is this? This is the Bema Seat judgment. This is where we get our crowns that we'll be casting them off later. Why do we cast them off? Because when Messiah comes back in Revelation 19, he has many crowns on his head. Revelation 19. Messiah comes back. Is it verse 11? Yes, it is. Where does it say? And he sat on his faithful and true, and the righteous and just towards his eyes were like flames of fire, and on his head were many crowns. He has our crowns that we cast off. They're on his head. Back to Revelation 19. Again, prophetic, perfect tense of a verb. It doesn't actually happen here. This is where it's being said, but it doesn't actually happen here. And at that time, the dead, that they should be judged. And you should reward your servants, the prophets and the saints. So what are the rewards when they judge? What is that judgment based on? It's based on works. And this is going to like upset people because there were these anti-workers. No, I'm just kidding. That's a funny label name. But there are people that, oh my goodness, they just lose it if you mention works. So I won't mention it. We'll just let Scripture mention it. Messiah will mention it. And I am coming quickly, and my reward was with me to give to everyone according to his work. So who gets rewards based on his work? Everyone. Some are good, and some will get them at the Bema Seat judgment and crowns, positions. I believe that's where we're going to find out who's going to be kings and priests or whatever. But also the other ones are going to get it at when? When are they going to get it? The great white throne judgment at the end of the 1,000 years. So you see that in this verse in Daniel 12. And this verse used to really bother me because I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't contemplate how this would ever be put together. This was a long, long time ago. And there are many who will sleep in the dust of the earth and awake, or that shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And I couldn't think, this was early on studying prophecy, and I couldn't think, when is there a time when people who are dead awake to everlasting life and people who are dead awake to shame and everlasting contempt? There's not. This is 1,000 years apart, roughly. This is the rapture when the dead in Christ raise first, and the Bema Seat, the great white throne judgment, where those people are made alive to be thrown into the lake of fire, where they're going to endure torment forever. Where we want to be is this next verse. And those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the firmament. And those who turn many to righteousness, well, the opposite of righteousness is lawlessness. Those who turn many to righteousness shall shine like stars forevermore. But you don't do things to get rewards. You do things because you love the Lord. If you're doing something just to get a reward, you've already gotten any reward you're ever going to get. Let's go back to Revelation 11. And those who fear your name, great and small. What does great and small mean? It's a Jewish idiom. Small and great, young and old. That's basically all it means. And you should destroy those who destroy the earth. And that's Armageddon when he wipes everybody out. And the temple of God was open in heaven, and the ark of his covenant was seen in the temple. And there were lightnings and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. So why is there an ark in heaven? Or it's actually, why is there one on earth? Or was one on earth? Because there's one in heaven. The temple was a direct copy of the temple in heaven. And that's why God was very specific about how it would be laid out, the Lord was. I want to discuss one last thing. We've seen like loud voices. It's going to be loud during tribulation. There's going to be bought coals. No, not bought something at Kohl's. Bought coals. What's a bought coal? It's a voice from heaven. Like where Messiah said, this is my son, where God said, this is my son in whom I am well pleased, and God spoke from heaven. See, whenever I see thunderings, and this is the last thing, I'm going to wrap it up, but you can watch the counter. Whenever I see thunderings, I can't help but think that all of this is going to be heard by everybody. And you see thunderings throughout the book of Revelation. It's going to be loud, folks. Thundering. If you're using Blue Letter Bible, if you just put an asterisk in like this, I get anything that says thundering or thundering. So they don't know if some of them have an S on it or not. But where do we get it? Revelation 4, Revelation 8, Revelation 11, 16, 19. But see back here in Exodus 19, this is where the first trumpet was blown at Mount Sinai, and there were thunderings. The word thunderings, voices. God literally spoke in tongues to the children of Israel and all the strangers that were with them. There's a whole lot of people that came with the children of Israel and they were grafted in, became part of the children of Israel. They said, oh my goodness, look at their God. Their snake was bigger, badder, and hungrier. Moses turned his staff into a snake. And they were freaking out. But this is where it is that he spoke to them in tongues. And this is the same day that Peter spoke in tongues. All right. And again, we're wrapping up this study here. Hey guys, running out of time. Clock's ticking. Running out of time. Got to share Messiah. Got to have them. Got to share them. Nothing else matters. Get out. Talk to people. So there are people would be like, I don't have enough time, and there's no guarantee that September 23rd, 24th is the rapture. It looks like it. It's not a guarantee. So don't go out and say, you got to do this now. If not, you're going to be burning in hell. Yep, because we're going to get raptured out of here next month. They don't do that. There's a possibility. You can explain there's a possibility. So many people say that to people. I've done it. And you've lost all credibility forever if it doesn't happen. But share Messiah. And there's always time. There was time for the thief on the cross right before he died. There's always time for somebody. Don't miss this opportunity. And again, I'll see what I do with other teachings in the book of Revelation. Revelation 12, that teaching is already up. It is in the playlist for videos of the book of Revelation. Thank you guys so much for joining me. May God bless you. Maranatha, brothers and sisters. Maranatha.